I've never had a time in my professional life where Americans have been more concerned about their own self-protection.
Hey, folks, have you ever had the wind knocked out of you? Have you ever caught a kickball when you were a kid in the gut, right in the middle of your gut? All of a sudden, really hard to breathe. Sometimes drop to your knees. You've been punched there. You've fallen on your back and had the same thing. Well, we're going to explore that today. This is all part of the solar plexus area of the human body. And it gets a big result when you put enough blunt force trauma into that area. But hey, before we get into that today, it is time for you to have your own self protection strategy, your own program for you and your family to keep you guys safe. You want a program that not only teaches you how to protect yourself for the worst situations, but also how to minimize the chance of violence ever coming in your life. And in order to do that, go to timlarkin.com, give us your email, and immediately we'll start getting you on a program that is absolutely free and giving you the best information to make the best decisions when it comes to your self-protection. Also, please join the channel, subscribe, make comments, share these videos. It takes a lot to put in to get all these out, but you guys have been great in helping us grow the channel. All right, so now get into the solar plexus. The solar plexus is that area, that middle of the torso. Sometimes they call it the breadbasket. It's that place that when you strike it, something happens within the body that creates a feeling of your wind being knocked out, and it's pretty substantial. um Let me give you a quick definition. Found this graphic. It's a collection of two bundles of nerves or ganglion that intertwine and pass each other at the central location, the abdomen. Now, if you notice where the arrow is, it's a circle, this ganglion of nerves. Now, the real name for that area, the anatomy name, is the celiac plexus. But the reason it gets the name the solar plexus is because, as you can see, those the nerves are yellow and they're in a circular form, and it looks like a sun or a solar. So that's how it got the name. Now, why is it important to us? It's important to us because this is an area of the human body that, when struck properly, gets a huge result. Um, it's interesting. I first learned about this when I was a kid. A lot of you guys know I was a Navy kid growing up, and my mom would drop us off at the Navy library. And I read every book I could on boxing. I loved boxing when I was a kid. And one of the first ones I ever read was about a fighter named Gentleman Jim Corbett. He was an American heavyweight. And what was really interesting was he was, seen as like a devastating fighter of his time. Yet he was beaten by a UK fighter named Bob Fitzsimmons, and he lost. Corbett lost the title in where was it? Cedar City, Nevada. And what's interesting is this is a quick clip of this, but it shows the first time a strike to the solar plexus was ever used. As a matter of fact, Fitzsimmons was famous for it. And I'm just going to play this. It's a grainy 1897 fight, but it's worth seeing because this is really what changed things for me. When I read about this and I read about how the way they described Corbett, trying to get up off the floor, but he couldn't. It just, my mind was just reeling. Now, this was after 13 rounds where basically everybody said, by all counts, Corbett was winning the fight. But in the 14th round, Fitzsimmons lands this punch. Let's take a look.
13th of March 1897 in Carson City, Nevada, he knocked out American Jim Corbett, generally recognized as the legitimate world heavyweight champion, having won that title from John L. Sullivan in 1892 in the 14th round.
It's going to be coming up now.
This was a remarkable achievement, as Jim Corbett, who was also a skilled boxer, weighed 1 stone 3 pounds more than Fitzsimmons. During the fight, he outboxed Fitzsimmons for several rounds, knocked him down in the 6th round, and badly damaged his face with his jab, left hook, and right hand combination.
Okay, they're going to show it again.
Fitzsimmons kept coming, and Corbett began to tire. In the 14th round, Fitzsimmons won the title with his solar plexus punch. The infamous solar plexus punch is in full view in this old and worn but nevertheless interesting film footage.
Boom, right there. And look at him drop. You can see, even in this grainy footage, you can see how he just collapses and goes down into it. Okay. So it's worth learning, where the solar plexus is and, why we would ever go after it. Basically, it's in the middle of your body. If you took the torso and you from the tops of the shoulders, not the head, but the tops of the shoulders to right below the hips, and you divide the body, right in the middle is the solar plexus. Now, it's right below the xiphoid process. If you just feel your chest, you'll go in there and you'll feel the xiphoid process is that little bone at the end of your sternum. Okay. And then right below that, in this area right here, is the solar plexus. That's where the ganglion nerves are. And what it does is it seizes your diaphragm and it makes it really difficult for you to breathe. It, knocks the wind out of you. Most people drop to their knees and they can't continue on. Now, I have much better footage coming up that's going to show you a series of MMA fighters and boxers dropping people with the solar plexus punch. What's nice about it also is it's relatively a safe punch. Now, what do I mean by that? It means you're going to be able to recover from this. Most people, when they do get struck to the solar plexus, can recover. I mean, that's just how it is. The solar plexus basically it spasms the diaphragm, and then after a couple of minutes, it'll relax, and then you'll be able to get back up, and you'll be able to breathe normally again. Now, here's my disclaimer. My disclaimer is genetically, you don't know what's going on with people. You never know when you cross the physical plane, you put your hands on somebody, um, how it's going to end up. You know nothing about their medical condition. You can't go by looks. And, also, as as you've seen in some of the other videos, you could strike somebody the solar plexus. They could fall over, trip over, brain themselves on the concrete, bleed out, and, now you're facing manslaughter. But all things being equal, if you strike the solar plexus to a healthy individual, it is one of those traumas that, given time, they'll recover fully from. It's not a big deal, but they will have a hard time. As long as the diaphragm is spasming, it'll be very difficult for them to breathe normally, and literally takes the wind from them and drops them oftentimes right to their knees right away, as you're about to see with this video. Now, this is all MMA and boxers, and I won't maybe do the whole video. It goes a little bit over a minute, but you're going to get the idea. But I'm just going to go ahead and play this. They show a lot of these strikes multiple times from different angles, so you can see exactly where the guy gets struck. And what I want you to focus on is the fact that these are highly trained fighters, and they want to win. And oftentimes, this is well into the match before they went down. Remember, the Bob Fitzsimmons Jim Corbett fight that I showed you from 1897, that went 13 rounds. 13 rounds. And in the 14th round, that's when he landed the punch that immediately dropped Corbett, even though Corbett was winning the fight by all accounts. So again, it's one of these things, a true injury as we define it, meaning you lose complete control over your body. So let's watch. Yeah, you see this comes right in. Now, the next angle coming up, you're going to see it a little bit better here. Right there. Now look at that. It looks almost like a phony reaction, the way the delay that happens. It's the same thing when you get a liver strike. Oftentimes there's that delay, and then they go right to their knees. But look, the guy there's no fight left in him. You see him go down, he curls into it, drops, and he's just helpless. Now on the street, that would be excellent for us because now we could stack our injuries until the guy's non-functional. But again, in competition, that's over. Now, Anderson Silva uses his knee. It's still worse. I've had that happen in training, and it just drops you. Okay. Now, some boxing. I got to give it to this guy. This is classic. He took the shot. He knows he can't get up, and he acknowledged it. It's pretty cool. Now, watch this. Boom. Look, now he's going to start crawling. He's trying to get back up. There's just nothing. There's nothing he can do. That's the beauty of these types of strikes. And again, these guys, this is with gloves on. Granted, they're boxers; they know how to drop in and get the strikes in. But this is a very simple strike to do. And look, there's the result. Look, he's literally on his knees. Now think about that if that was the street. So it is definitely worth learning All right. Now, last point I want to make on this. None of these strikes, as I've always shown, are anything magical. You have to put the work in. You have to put all your body weight into it. But I've had small 90-pound women drop guys in our classes because they had the structure and they just knew exactly where to strike on the solar plexus. And the guy they were training with didn't think they could do that. So again, pay attention. I broke down where on the human body it is, and it is really a strike that is worth your time and being able to be able to just pick it out right on the torso. We used to joke with button-down shirts. We said it's the third button down on a button-down shirt. But again, look at the results. You see what you get. So listen, it's a target on the human body. I thought this was a great graphic that is really, really worth learning. And again, you want to learn everything accurately and correct first. You want to make sure that you take your time, work with your partner, learn where on the human body the solar plexus is. We have all that information if you go to timlarkin.com and sign up for the free masterclass. We go over numerous parts of the human body and show you in detail where they are and how to access them and what types of body tools you can use to affect the injuries. So please make sure you do that. And also, please share these videos with your friends. Get them to subscribe. That's the only way this grows. People are just being really, really helpful right now, but big tech isn't. So until next time, stay safe.